This has been the Purpose Podcast. Interviews with dope-ass people doing dope-ass shit. What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 1 of the Purpose Podcast with Ricky Zollinger. This show is all about interviewing dope-ass people doing dope-ass things. And so on my first episode, the dopest, Matt Peterson. What's up, dude?
What a title. Thank you.
So the reason I thought of Matt for this first episode is 1, because we're friends. 2, because I feel like he's doing some pretty epic shit right now. And I've been following along. I'm a huge fan. I'm like a friend fan.
Friend fan.
So
the feeling is mutual.
Yeah, so I'm just watching you do your thing and I'm so inspired enough to get doing my own thing, and now here we are.
Rock on. Well, I'm very honored to be the first guest.
Funny thing about this is I got this whole setup for us, and I don't think this is gonna actually work. We're getting audio from there and there, so.
But I really feel like it's just about the aesthetic.
Yeah, it's the aesthetic right now. I feel like it makes me feel good.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk into this even though I know it doesn't work.
Yeah,
and I kind of just want to do like ASMR too,
yeah,
but I won't.
You won't hear this because it's not.
I know. I'm upset. It's fine.
I'm upset. But okay, so just a few things to go over Matt's quick history. So the reason I was drawn to Matt for this episode, and the episode's theme is actually taking massive action, which is pretty essential to be happy in life. And so I equate a purpose to happiness, purpose to fulfillment, and fulfillment is happiness. They're all kind of one thing. So I think as humans on this earth, we kind of have to take action on our own life in order to be happy. And you have seemed to master this take action thing. And let me tell you why. Okay, meeting Matt. As a Food Beast intern.
First, I was literally his intern.
Yeah, coming into Food Beast intern. I didn't know at the time, but one of our account managers, Teresa's like, that's the Miley Cyrus like prom kid. And I was like, what are you talking about? So she takes me to the video, and there you are. A viral video about how you asked Miley Cyrus to prom.
Miley Cyrus, will you go to prom with me?
And though she didn't go with you, that still ended up pulling you on stage, singing to you. You got your prom dance at her concert. Yeah, you met her. Like, what was that?
It was like my life peak for sure, and it honestly was better than prom because we like got a slow dance on stage. And if she was at prom, we definitely would have had to be like with people. So it was like a private prom.
I don't know if you guys know this, but this cutie right here asked me to go to prom with him. I'm gonna share this special dance right here with Matt Peterson. Here we go.
So cool. And then you met her again when she was in like a studio interview, right? And you just got to like
it like had led up to it.
Okay,
so I was just like a big Miley fan growing up, and so it was like met her a few times, and then that's why I was like, I'm gonna make this video.
Well, I'll put some of the videos in the video so they can see it, but it's epic. So basically, you get to meet Miley Cyrus because you took massive action on something you really wanted, and then we get to Food Beast where we feel like we're in a similar situation, like, oh, we're here, but like, what's next? What else are we gonna do? And then you decide to ask Miley Cyrus for a job with what was it?
It was essentially like I was a broadcast major my whole life. I have had like a dream job my entire life, and so when I was a senior, I'm like, how am I gonna make this thing happen? And I mean, we can get into it later, but everything is like about like how many followers you have or views or whatever, and who you know. And I'm like, I don't really know that many people in the industry, but I know Miley, like air quote. I didn't actually know her.
Careful.
Sorry to the fake microphone. But yeah, so that's where that premise came from. I'm like, the prom thing had happened once, so I might as well try to get her attention with the job thing.
Yeah.
So that's why I made it. Yeah.
But it's epic, and like the production value of what you made, like also epic. It was just so cool, and you got like shredded for it, which you kept on. Good job.
Kind of. I need to work on my flex.
Okay. We'll work on that.
Yeah, we'll hit the gym right after. He actually came to my spin class.
Oh my gosh, which we're gonna get to. So you do all those things. You're kind of getting some accolades, and that like all those things went viral in their own aspect, which is fucking awesome. And that led to Miley Cyrus following you, which. It's its own mountain to top. That's amazing. How'd that feel?
It felt exciting. I think no, it was exciting, but I mean, I didn't get a job out of it. So it's like yes, I am very excited and honored. And if she were to see this, thank you for following me. Very honored. But I set out to get a job.
Yeah.
And so it's like I was excited, but Yeah.
But like, don't you think that all those things build on themselves though? Because you took action on one thing, it led to the next thing. You're like, I found success in this before, I can do it again.
Right.
You do it again, she follows you. It's just like a whole campaign, but you really built a brand for yourself off doing these things. So in the midst of just like trying things and doing things, you've like accomplished a whole lot, which is hard because like to look at, like we were just talking about this before. So I took his spin class. It was crazy. I died. Then we got lunch, but we were talking at lunch about how if you just like start to do things, you slowly start to go the right direction.
Right.
But if you're not doing those things, you don't get anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But you were talking about how you were like, no, I don't think like you're too close to it to see the impact you're making.
Well, thank you.
But you're doing some good shit. So that's the intro there. Oh, and now you're a Soul Cycle instructor, which is hard as hell to do as well. So tell me about that.
Yeah. So honestly, that's like one of the most beautiful things that came out of the Miley thing, because when I had posted it and I was starting to get, I don't want to say discouraged, but I was almost like, okay, I don't think this is going to go the route I expected it to. I actually sent an email to Soul Cycle with my Miley video. And I was like, I just posted this. I currently teach spin in Orange County. I'm moving to LA. And they were like, oh, we have LA training this summer for the first time. So it was one of those like super, just like felt right and meant to be. And so moved out to LA, training started right when I moved to LA, did that for the whole summer. And now I'm doing it. And it's like the most rewarding thing ever.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw the room today. It's like an energy that like you can't recreate anywhere. And so it's such a fulfilling thing.
It was, I know you like plugged it a few times. You're like, purpose, fashion. I was like, I was listening as I was like dying. I was like, okay, he's on the same page as me right now. But it was really cool to see you in there doing your thing. And to be honest, like, dude, it was cool because you were like you're like pumping us up. And then I had my own insecurities going in there. The first time I've ever done spin. And you were like, all your insecurities, just like, fuck it, let it go. And I really like, when you like built it, I was like, yeah, like I got in my cycle bag. I was like, I could do this. And like, it was pretty awesome, pretty epic, inspiring. So, but Soul Cycle is incredibly hard to get into. So it's just another thing to take action on. But like, it's funny because like you're not in the midst of doing something else, another opportunity comes along. But because you did the first thing, like you're ready for the next thing.
Right.
That's the kind of coolest part about taking action. And that's, I think, what I kind of think we should talk about more with purpose. I think with purpose and with fulfillment, people have these ideas and they don't take any action on them. And they just kind of sit in their same place they've been in for forever. So I guess my question is, how do you, someone who's so good at just like doing it, like you just do it. I was talking to you about your shows. So we talked about the Miley stuff, and then you had the dabbing show.
Yeah, the taste test.
Where you would check out restaurants and dab. That had success on YouTube, and then you switched to Celebrity Food Tour. Then you switched to It Matters, which It Matters is really cool. If you haven't seen It Matters, follow the link in this right now and go check it out. It's seriously so cool. He interviews people on the street about fun, trivial things, but that it gets down to like some really, really purpose-driven stuff. What was your favorite moment like so far?
I think the coolest thing is like just the natural transition of all of the series. Like for instance, the taste test, I did it when dabbing was like on the come up. And then once like parents knew what dabbing was, I was like, okay, it's time to not do this. So I stopped doing that. And then Instagram TV had just launched. So I'm like, oh, I want to do Instagram TV. So I'm going to kind of take that series and switch it. So that's when I started doing the food tour on there. And now into It Matters, I feel like with Soul Cycle, I would kind of what you talked about, like talk about insecurities and confidence and like all this stuff in that room. Yeah. And then go and try to create content of me like eating a hamburger. And it just like didn't feel
like you were good putting the two together, but it didn't really get you there.
Yeah. So I needed something that was going to like kind of bridge the gap a little bit more than just.
So cool.
So that's where I was like, oh, I'm going to do this. And what I love about the videos is like talking to people. Yeah. And so that's why It Matters is so rewarding, because I just get to go out and meet random people and like
you make connections.
Yeah. And they're so funny. Like everyone, you're so afraid to just go talk to people. Yeah. Like even myself, when I go out there to like interview people, I get all nervous. Yeah. And then once you go up to them, it's the best part of your day is talking to some random stranger that you normally wouldn't.
It's seriously so true. I can't tell you how many times I've had like, cause I'm a videographer, I have a shoot and I don't dread it, but I kind of dread it. And I'm just like, no, let's just get there. And I get there and I meet like the nicest people and have the best day. And then I'm off to the best day. Yeah. It's like so good. But back to the question.
Yes.
So I'm big on habits. I'm reading about it a lot. I'm trying to evolve and get my habits in the right place so that I can be taking action on all the things I want to do. You seem to just have an idea and execute on it. what do you think it is about you? Maybe the way you were formed in high school, college, whatever. What do you think it is about you that allows for you to just do it? Because that's very rare. It's very rare for someone to have an idea and go from idea to action like that.
Well, first, thank you. I feel the first answer I think is just because I've always my entire life had like one goal. Like I've always wanted to go into entertainment news since I came out of the womb. I was like, I want to be Ryan Seacrest, like that. So I think that
I want to be Ryan Seacrest.
Like literally,
you heard it here
out
first.
of the womb, and that's all I said. So it's like I'm taking action in your eyes as someone looking at it. I'm taking action, but to me, I'm just like, what will get me there? Like it's like I just keep creating things, and if something doesn't work, I'm like, cool, I need to do something else. It's not I'm sitting here being like whatever it is. I'm like, sure, like let's just try it. If it doesn't work, cool, I'll skirt over to the next thing. Like
skirt over to the next thing.
Yeah, and that's with the Miley thing even.
Yeah.
Yes. I didn't end up getting a job, but I would have regretted it so much if I was sitting here now and I didn't just make it. Like 100%. I didn't have a job to begin with.
Yeah.
So I might as well have made the video, saw that I wasn't going to get a job, and then.
And who's to say that job you would have liked? Like you're literally building something yourself right now. That could be your own job. Like, cause isn't the end goal like if you could just as a career produce your own content, have a team to like that's and like I feel like you're doing it. You're like there. You're on your damn way. So. What I heard there was clarity. Mm-hmm. You need clarity on so you were crystal clear on what you want to do, and that allows you to just kind of go for it.
Right.
But why do you think, so to take it a step further, so why do you think people like for me, for example, I've been wanting to do a podcast for probably since April. So, and it's like, that's 6 months ago.
Right.
So 6 months to get from there to here. So that's a long time in Matt Peterson time. So
I like that.
So why do you think people do that, and how do you think you work away from it? Because it's in everyone to get that like fearful, like no, this is stupid, I shouldn't do it, like thought, and just stop. Right. So how do you like work away from that?
I think even something as simple as like the mics. So like us setting up and then the mics didn't end up working.
Yeah.
It's like if you're just trying to take action, we literally could have just filmed on our phones.
Yeah.
It's like it's that just like deciding I'm going to do a podcast, so I'm going to meet up with my friend and put on my voice memo and put it online because that is a podcast. Like yes, the fanciness is good, but I think that is what holds us all back, including myself. It's like the perfection of it all. Like it needs to be perfect because we all have a vision for it. Yeah. And you're like, oh, if I don't have the logo and if I don't have this and if I don't, it was like just do it.
It's so true. Like you use all of those things. You're like, if all of this stuff's in place, then I can do it.
Yeah.
And then like never, like it's like an insurmountable amount of things, and you just never get there.
That's what I've been saying a lot actually in class too, is the idea of like, we always wait. I want to be here, but I can't be there until I do this first.
I have to do this first.
It's it's so annoying.
You put this like terrible task in front of you that you'll never do in order to get to the next place, and it just like stops you in your tracks.
Yeah.
Oh, but we do that. We do it all the time as people, but you just fuck it, not doing
that. But not always. Right. I feel like you're gassing me up.
Tell me about a time. Well, I'm not gassing you. You've put on 3 different shows in 1 year. That's fucking crazy.
Thank you.
By anyone's standard. So, but tell me, like, is there a time that you didn't follow through with something?
I mean, even something as simple as like eating healthy or something like that. It's so much easier. Like I need to almost channel like a video mentality for that because I want to eat cleaner, or I'll start tomorrow, or the first of the month I'm gonna be healthy, and it's like that mentality is so just as toxic as I'm gonna start a podcast and then wait 6 months.
The start tomorrow mentality. Oh, it's so bad. That's what holds probably everyone back. There's like little things that everyone do. I feel like the I'll start tomorrow is probably
awful.
That's like number one thing that will hold you back, and then B is like, oh, I'll start when I have this. I'll start when I have all these microphones. And truly, I'll tell you a little fun thing for me. I feel like I'm a little different. Like, I feel like when I have an idea, I'm like, all right, what do I need to like get this idea done? If I grab that, if I just grab it right away. Like, I don't care what it costs. Well, yeah, obviously I care. I adjust a little bit. And then I'm like, I have everything I need. Now that I have it, let's go. Because like when I was talking to you, I was like, hey, everything comes in on Wednesday. When can you go? And you're like, yeah, I'm good on like Saturday. I was like, I'm there. Let's go.
Yeah.
We'll go to your class. We'll go here. Now we're here. So then the big question, Matt, what's your purpose? Because that kind of sounds like we've had it, but do you feel like you have a pretty accurate or a pretty strong handle on what your purpose is?
I think it's a very obviously deep question.
Yeah.
And I feel the answer is yes, but it's two parts.
Yeah.
Because like this morning in that room, what's so rewarding about teaching spin or just being my voice?
You're good. Dude, the raspiness came on point.
Yeah, you know what? Thank you very much. Sorry, we had a Justin Bieber ride this morning. And
we were yelling.
Screaming.
Literally yelling.
Like when you're in a room like that, I feel like my purpose is just to let people let loose.
Yeah.
Or make... I feel like my purpose is to have people feel good.
Yeah.
That really, that's like a weird thing. And that's what I'm discovering over time, because even going back to my dream job of entertainment news is I want to do that because it's lighthearted. And I want to do that because normal news is so depressing. And I love like when people are like, why do you love the Kardashians? Or I get in an argument with my parents. Well, my mom loves the Kardashians, but my dad's like, they're a waste, whatever. And it's like, they're so lighthearted and allow you just to escape.
Yeah.
And why would you not want to just turn them on for 45 minutes and forget about everything else? Yeah. And that's why I feel like my purpose in general is just to
give people a break from the
shit. Yeah. Basically.
Dude, that's such a solid purpose. Yeah, there's something to that, man. You're like a lighthouse. You're like a lighthouse for people's like the dark parts of people's day. I mentioned it earlier, like, you know, I walked in and I'm pretty confident, like I'd say like 90% of the time, but going to a class where it was brand new to me. I'd never done spin before. And then we're out here in Manhattan Beach, beautiful. And everyone in the class is like, just like, it's an attractive ass class. And I'm just like, I've never done this before. My buddy Derek's next to me, producer Derek. I can't even get my right like foot in. He has to like get off his bike and put my foot in.
I feel bad. I didn't even see that.
It's not for you to like, it's not for you to know that like, it's, if you know the rooms, it's like, there's a lot for you to focus on.
Yeah.
And so my buddy Derek said to me and I'm like, all right, here we go. But then like, you are able to work me out of it. So you literally did, I'm telling you from like a taker of your class, like a participant, like you got me out of that like mentality. So well, dude, you. Mission accomplished. So talk to me more about like, purpose and fulfillment. It sounds like that's the fulfillment side of you.
Yeah.
Like
yes. And the other thing too that I always like to say to people is a lot of people have that mentality of I'm insecure when I go into that room or everyone's judging me. And what I love to say is they're really not, because everyone is thinking what you're thinking. And so everyone is sitting there the whole time being like, I look weird, or I don't know what I'm doing. I feel uncomfortable. And it's like, well, if we're all thinking that, literally no one is paying attention to you. Because if I'm thinking that and I'm sitting next to you, all I'm thinking about is myself. Which is like a weird mentality, but it's true, the truth.
Though. It's so true. And it's like, so it's funny that it took like a shift in purpose talk to like talking about like mental health and confidence, because you're so right. Everyone's kind of like in their head about things, but you're kind of like, let's just all do this together. I think you said that a million times. Like we'll do it together and like, we're all weird together. It's like fine.
And I say that over and over. I'm like, because you have to zoom out of everything in life. It's like, if you can just zoom out of the bigger picture, like, we're literally clipped into stationary bikes at Soul Cycle. Like it's so silly that if you're going to be taking that serious, you're going to walk outside the doors and something actually serious is going to happen in your life. And if you can't even take Soul Cycle lightheartedly, how are you going to take lighter lightheartedly?
How are you going to go about your life? And we should just, and like you said that, you said, leave this room, don't take yourself too seriously. And that was a huge takeaway for me. I was like, it's so fucking true.
Yeah.
Like I walked out of there feeling like 10,000 times better than when I walked in.
Yeah.
It's just cool. Crazy because it's like such a new experience for me. And like, I feel good about most things all the time, but we worked out of that like thing together. I was like singing and going wild. It was so fun.
Yeah.
All right. So then another question, like, how would you suggest people, cause this is all like a show to help people. I want people to watch and be like, okay, like I can find my fulfillment and purpose as well. Like if you had to give your best, suggestion to someone who's like, man, I want to be like you. I want to like know what I want and I want to go after it. Like what advice would you give? That's a tough one, huh?
That's really tough. It's just so funny to me because it
doesn't feel like it to you.
Well, not even, but like that's what the first It Matters is about. Is like, do you feel like you have your life figured out?
Right.
Because I don't at all. And granted, I'm 22, and so I have some time to go.
Oh yeah.
But it's just when you say that, it's like I don't even feel like I should be giving advice to anyone because I don't know necessarily. But the advice I would give to myself that maybe someone else could hear as well is I guess just like own. I kind of what I was saying this morning too is like owning everything about you. Like I say own your strength, but also just own, if you have like the podcast, like anything, it's like, if there's something you want to do, just do it. Because why not? So I guess I would just steal Nike's thing and just be like, just do it. I don't know if that's even an answer. No,
that's perfect, dude. That's perfect.
There's someone can walk away from one thing from this episode. It's like, just do whatever you wanted to do. Send a text to someone you didn't want to text, or this or that. Like, it doesn't have to be like, go create a video. Like, a lot of people don't like that side of it, you know? But it's like, we're all just so afraid of everything, and it's like you're placing a limitation on yourself to begin with.
It's like our minds tell us not to. But like, there's this woman, Mel Robbins, who has something called the 5-second rule, which is basically like that. It's like anytime you're thinking about doing something you don't want to do, you just go like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you do the thing.
Right.
You just do it. So I feel like you do that pretty naturally, but that's what like we need to do.
Yeah.
It's just like, don't overthink it. Don't give yourself a task that's so insurmountable you can't do it, and just go.
I also want to read, I'm going to pull it up really fast. So there's a lady in Arizona, her name's Harmony, and she's like, she is someone you should have on this podcast because she's just like a guru.
Sure.
But she texts me, I always reach out to her whenever I'm like, this isn't happening, or I wanted to do this or whatever. And she sent me the best thing. I told her I was going to go film, and I was really excited about the video. And then when she called me, she's like, how did it go? And I was like, didn't go the way I wanted to. I didn't find anyone who answered the question I wanted, like whatever. And then she sent me the best thing. And I think this is what anyone should take away.
Sure.
It's like, experience is what you get when you don't get what you want.
Okay, yeah.
And I was like, that hit hard. Because it's like, if I would have gotten what I wanted and she asked me how did the day go, I would have been like, it went perfectly. But then I was like, oh, it was a good experience. Like on the phone, I said that to her, and then that's when she texted me that. Because it's just such a like switch of the mindset. Instead of being like, I didn't get what I wanted, I'm like, oh, it was a good experience.
Yeah.
And then that's when she's like, well, experience only comes from getting what you didn't want to begin with.
Absolutely. Things happen for us, not to us. And as soon as we can start to embrace that kind of mentality, things get better.
Totally.
Like, it's kind of crazy. Like, you did all these things, these really cool things, and you didn't get exactly what you wanted from it. Like a job from Miley Cyrus, right? But what you did get is a bunch of experience, a bunch of exposure, and a tool set to like go out and do anything you wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And now you are making your own content, which is fantastic. Because to be honest, if you were to work for someone else, if you were to work for a star, you'd be doing like all the production for not your face.
Right.
So like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just funny the way things work out. And now you're out here being a lighthouse for everyone, trying to get people out of their bad days, which is amazing. And one thing I want to say, don't ever feel like you can't just help, like you can't give advice. Dude, for 22 years old, holy shit, I wish I was 22 and had your mentality. Because, dude, you're light years ahead. I've said it before. I said it to producer Derek. I'll say it again. When I met you at Food Beast, I knew you were special.
Thanks.
And it remains to be true, man. I'm out here inspired by you. Guys, this is episode 1 of the Purpose Podcast.
I have one more thing I think that we need to end on. It's my favorite quote of all time. I repeat it to myself over and over again, and it feels right for what you're saying right now.
Yeah.
And it's from Steve Jobs, and it says, you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you need to trust that one day the dots will align. And I think that's what we all need to remember.
Hell yeah. Episode 1 of the Purpose Podcast. Is it? Well, let me think of my tagline again, because this is the first of it. Dope ass people doing interviews with dope ass people doing dope ass shit. And he's the dopest. Matt Peterson, thank you for being here, man.
Thank you. I'm so honored.
And where can we find you on Instagram?
You can find me on @MattPeterson on Instagram.
Where else?
And at Soul Cycle in LA. You can come and sing with me.
Oh my gosh, please go to the class.
My voice sounds like that because of that. Yeah, so Instagram. And we're going to get on TikTok because it's the next
Yeah, we've been
thing.
talking about trying to figure out our TikTok content.
You can catch me rolling on TikTok.
Yeah, and on our stories right now, we've been rolling. But I look like an idiot. I'm not very good. They can dance. I'm like, look at that.
Mostly just Instagram.
Yeah, mostly just Instagram. Cool. So check them out. And this has been the Purpose Podcast. Interviews with dope-ass people doing dope-ass shit. I'm not going to dab because he says, well, you want to whoa instead?
No, whoa. Until parents start wowing.
And then it's done. Matt, thanks, dude.
Thank you. Yep.